Hello again, everybody. Today we're going to make a custom sports card from a picture that was given to me by a buddy of mine. He wanted a card made of his grandson and this minor league hockey player from a local team. They don't have a patch, or I couldn't find one to use, but I actually was able to find a keychain, which actually worked out pretty well and was kind of a neat thing to use and was the right size. So that's all the stuff there you'll see. So hopefully we can make it really pretty. So this here is one of the cards that was this type of card was used for the border. The team colors were orange and black, so this actually worked out pretty well. So I cut out the nameplate, the bottom, the top, the whole thing, and just literally using just the border, minus the god-awful Eagles players there, despite him being a phenomenal lineman. So here it is cut out. I put a holographic overlay over the top. You want to add a little something to it. I think it's got to look a little bit neat, but once you cut it away, it doesn't add too much. You know what I'm saying? Like when you take a picture like that, it looks kind of like you can see it really obvious, but you know, when it's taken away from the backing, just as you see there, it's like a little something extra. I really like that stuff. I think it helps when someone looks at it. It's like, oh, that looks pretty neat. I think that helps add, but to each is their own. So just like a regular sports card, I cut away all the background and just left the images that I wanted to use. I got one of one size, one of the other. I got both pictures of each size. This was just kind of what I ended up coming down to. So I got them printed up at the local drugstore like regular pictures. I wanted them glossy on purpose. They look much better that way. This was the final configuration that I kind of came up to. I had moved it around. I knew I wanted it to be a horizontal card instead of vertical because of the keychain that I had. So, and it was going to go into a BCW frame anyway. So it'll still go into the magnetic case that I usually put them in, and then that goes into a interlocking frame. So it would look pretty neat, but I have to keep everything within the border. So those are the cards that I use to cut the borders to give it the shadow box effect. Just 6 random Topps baseball cards from last year. I really like those cards because the borders are super easy to cut. You just follow the white where the color meets the white, and it just keeps the borders a perfect size for what I need. So that's what I use with a lot of the useless base cards that I have. This turns out to be really nice. And then the center part I can use to cut strips and add like support if I need it or not, and I still used it for something. You'll see that I ended up using pieces of this later on. So but what you do is you take the top card and you put it over the borders to make sure that you're not going to see too much or any of the border. You really don't want to see any of it. The end result here was not completely glued together, so it's a little bit of false advertisement here at the end. So there's all the remainder crap that I'm going to need. Base card for the bottom, the borders that are cut out and glued together, the top card, the piece of thing I'm going to use, which in this case is a keychain as opposed to a patch, my backing that I typically just glue on, and then that's the vinyl that I settled with. Again, team colors were orange and black. I just felt like keeping it like a color match for the team. It just figured it was going to look much better. So there's 2 things I didn't do at the end of this video. I didn't glue it all together and show it the right way, and I also didn't put a nameplate at the top. So this is just me putting the vinyl on the bottom card. That's how I do it, and then I leave it face down and then just cut around it nice and slow. So, but I haven't put a nameplate on it yet. I didn't want to, just like the other video that I did with the large comic book size. It's got to do with a minor, so I don't want to put any invasive stuff on there. So with the picture, I noticed that the top part was pushing in a little bit when I was starting to slowly put it together. So I used pieces of that other card that I was showing you before and glued, I think, 5 or maybe even 6 pieces there just to keep it raised, so that way when it was done, it was still able to have that 3D effect. The picture on the other corner didn't need it because it had 2 pieces that it was keeping it up, so it was staying raised off of the backing. Again, triple, quadruple check all of your stuff as you're going to make sure that you don't, you need to add something or whatever before you glue it, because once you glue it, can you take it apart? I mean, as long as the glue isn't completely dry, yes. There's a very good chance you've made a mess. It's also a very good chance you've ruined what it is that you're doing. So I try not to do that too much. So And that's pretty much the finished product. That's not all completely glued together. So you can see the white border on the right-hand side on the top, underneath the top card, that you can't see on the finished product. Also, I didn't add the nameplate across the top or the bottom, but you could do both. I use the Canva app for that. I have a subscription that I pay for every month. It has completely been worthwhile. I love it. It has allowed me to do all this kind of stuff. So I can do graduation cards, high school cards for, like, you know, people that aren't even into sports, people like in band or whatever, Cub Scouts, pets cards I've done, like, so I like it. It's been very beneficial. I don't have to worry about copyright stuff or anything like that. And this was a picture taken by the family themselves, and also a keychain that I bought from the team itself. So you do want to worry about copyright stuff. So, all right, guys, thanks for watching my video. Have a good one.